lunatic anti-ICE protesters. That's what happened. You know, and I know a lot of you are gun owners and maybe you conceal or open carry. Here in Florida, we have open carry without a permit. We have concealed carry without a permit. And this goes not just for myself when I carry, but everyone I've known my entire life that carries. I have never in my life, and I have grown up with people in my circle carrying guns my entire life. When I was a little kid, my grandfather was a retired police officer. He retired to Florida from Ohio. He was a police officer for 30, 35 years. He didn't go anywhere without a pistol. It was always loaded. I carry sometimes, and I've known every guy I know at some point has carried in the state of Florida. I have never myself or known anyone, including my retired police officer grandfather up until now, who carries extra magazines of ammunition with them when they carry. No one does that. This guy very well may have been planning a mass shooting event of ICE officers. In fact, the ICE officers may have saved lives in this incident because of that very instance. And those of you out there that carry either concealed or open carry, if you have a handgun and with your regular carry, are you bringing extra ammunition? No one does. The only time I have extra ammunition is when I'm going to the gun range because I need the extra ammo to shoot for target practice. You don't bring extra ammo. If somebody has extra ammo like that, they're planning something that's no good. Plus what he was doing, pointing it at federal officers, following federal officers. I mean, it's tragic. However, the guy did some things that led to this, as tragic as it is, okay? Even his parents warned him against confronting ICE officers, which tells you that the parents had in their mind that he might get confrontational with federal agents. And those of you that are on the other side of this, the anti-Trump people, whatever your background is politically, in what world is it, and I'd love to hear this, that it is okay for a anti-police, because ICE are police, federal police, an anti-police protester who's following and harassing federal agents, police officers, to have a loaded gun with extra ammo, a minimum of 30 rounds, as many as 50, 51 rounds, depending on the size of the mags, and pointed at officers. In what world is that okay to you? In what world does that not get you shot by the cops? Right? Here is their Border Patrol chief, Bonvino, one of the coolest men alive. Mm. Wow. See that? Federal. Now this right now, what we have, I mean, everything here we have federal. If he would have survived, he'd be facing federal gun charges right now, multiple federal gun charges. Yep. There you go. I mean, and so when you hear these details, pointing a 9mm weapon at officers, what are the officers supposed to do? They tried to subdue him physically without using the weapon, without success. And we have every moment from multiple angles on 4K video from the protesters. If you're just joining, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, which is available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, you can find us. Just search for the Brian Craig Show. If you want to catch the program live, that's on YouTube, and you can catch the program live and in video form, and that's where you hear me taking the live calls. And there, just go to YouTube and search for the Brian Craig Show. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening on. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to the calls in a bit. The number is, if you're watching live, is pinned in the live chat. It's 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, in the first Renee Good incident, what people on the left said, well, she only had a truck, a car, a vehicle. She didn't have a gun. Well, the car's a 2-ton weapon. But this guy not only had a gun, he pointed it at the officers. And he had all this backup ammunition. So, you know, these Trump derangement syndrome lunatics on the left, no matter what the situation is, they're always going to side with the bad guy. Here's Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem yesterday after the incident. Wow, bad guy. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Everything we've seen looks like they stopped a mass shooter before the mass shooting began. What was he doing with the gun and all that ammo? You know, we have these god-awful, terrible mass shooting events, and people ask the right questions. What were the signs? Why couldn't he have been stopped before? You have an incident here where obviously a mass shooter was stopped. What are you supposed to assume with all that ammo? With a gun he was pointing at federal officers. And they're not happy. All right, now, before I take calls, I want to give you this warning. The topic at hand is what's going on right now in Minneapolis. And be in control of yourself and what you say in your language, okay? Be responsible. Be responsible on both sides, by the way, just to be fair. And this is your only warning, okay? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tyler McCandless, and I'm calling from Missouri.
All right, go ahead, Missouri.
So I was on your live, and as soon as I said anything about Israel, I got banned. So I'm trying
You're
to
not
figure that out.
banned. You're not banned. You're talking to me now, but the topic at hand is not Israel. All right? We're talking about Minnesota. Take care. I love people that tell me they're banned. If you're banned, how you talking to me? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Steve from California.
Yes, Steve in California.
I got a question for you, Brian.
Is it related to the topic?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I carry a firearm with me with three different clips. Does that make me a mass shooter?
First off, I'm going to call total BS on that. And are you a cop?
No, I'm a citizen.
Yeah, you're a citizen. I'm going to call total BS on that for a number of reasons. Okay. One, I'm going to tell you. Okay. Now, there's no way for me to know definitively, unless because I'm not there next to you in California. You're a caller with attitude. Yeah, excuse me. I'm going to tell you why I'm calling BS on your story. All right. One, you got for me to answer and respond, you have to stop interrupting. You've got an attitude with me on the whole topic, which shows that politically we're not aligned. And number two, you're in California on top of it. Okay. Number three, every guy I have known my entire life living in the gun culture of Florida, no one with a carry weapon. And in California, you have concealed. You don't, with special permits that are very difficult to get. No one carries extra ammo. So I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and talk to line. Now all of a sudden, every liberal in the audience is going to be a gun owner who carries and has multiple clips of ammunition with them. I'm not going to sit here and talk to liars, gaslighters, and people playing let's make believe. All right? This is a place where we have real conversations about what's really going on, not talking to liars. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Joe from Florida.
Joe, what is on your mind?
There are people that carry firearms with multiple
okay, slow down for a second. There are exceptions to every rule, okay? There are exceptions to every rule. But when it comes to civilians, I'm not talking about law enforcement. When it comes to civilians that conceal carry weapons, okay, legally, I've never known anybody that brings extra ammo. Now, of course, there's exceptions to every rule, but why would somebody have a weapon loaded with extra clips of ammunition at a protest where they're protesting cops and brandishing the loaded weapon and pointing it at the officers? Explain that to me.
We'll never know. We'll never know that until we get into the.
Well, what does now again? You're a liberal thinking person, so you lack common sense. So to ask you to.
I'm actually a Republican.
I know you're probably more conservative than me. I know you voted for Trump 3 times and everything else. I know. Give me the scenario. Give me, of course. Give me the scenario where a liberal illegally takes a loaded firearm because he didn't have identification with him, which is illegal. You got to have ID on you with the weapon in Minnesota. Okay, he is in illegal possession of a concealed weapon. He has minimum 30 rounds of ammunition. He's protesting and stalking and harassing federal officers. He points the gun at the officers. Tell me where this is not wrong.
Number one, he didn't point.
They didn't point the one. I know. That's the Republican that voted for Trump 3 times. Notice this. See, this is the problem with liberals, right? They all lie. Voted for Trump 3 times. Everybody carries extra ammunition. He didn't point the gun at the officers. Yes, the witnesses said. You heard Kristi Noem even say it. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Jocelyn right out of California.
I mean, did you hear that this guy in California, right? Trump voter, Republican, carries guns with extra ammo all the time. What a bunch of... I'm not going to talk to liars.
Listen, these people have absolutely no common sense. This individual was not a responsible gun owner at all.
No.
Whether or not he was bringing extra ammunition or not, he went... You saw the video, right? Where he's actively instigating ICE by following them around, directing traffic, filming them, basically while they're trying to actually apprehend somebody. So he's interfering, which is the first
There were
crime.
multiple federal crimes going on here, multiple federal crimes, including the weapons charges that he would be facing if he was alive.
Right, but with that being said, as soon as he starts getting into any altercation or anything having to do with law enforcement, it is his responsibility to notify them that he has a firearm. And then on top of that, as you saw on the video, he goes down on the ground and he hides his hand.
Correct.
They have no idea what is going on with this guy. And by the way, once they find one weapon, with the attitude and the instigation that all of those individuals that are in the legislature that are just instigating all this, how are we supposed to know whether or not he has an additional weapon? Who brings weapons to a protest?
Load it up with extra ammunition while they're harassing federal agents.
How do you not know that he doesn't have multiple guns on him? And then on top of that, like I said, he's not showing his hand. And then give me a break. That guy in California should know. He's seen tons
Well, the guy in California is a liar. You expect some liberal-minded guy in California has a permit to carry a gun concealed, and he carries extra ammo with him. Give me a break. They're all liars. Okay, anybody that talks like that's a liar.
It is so difficult to get a concealed permit. You have to go through so many hoops. You have to go, and the sheriff is the one who has to end up giving it to you.
In California, it's like
forget about it.
It's like New York City. It's very difficult. Yeah. But watch every liberal caller I talk to is going to be a gun owner that carries around 30 to 50 rounds of ammo now.
But wait a minute, aren't the Democrats the ones who are saying that there's issues in regards to guns?
Well, in fact, since this happened yesterday morning, I haven't heard a single liberal mention gun control. Have you?
Yeah, exactly. The hypocrisy is deafening. Democrats are just completely hypocrites.
Now what they are, now all of them are Second Amendment, NRA, lifetime members, and gun advocates, right?
Who carry around arsenals with bullets. Give me a break.
Yeah, no, you don't, and I know a lot of people will say, well, wait a minute. I've seen these instances with people with rifles and open carry and everything else. While you have seen that in some places like Texas, have you seen them start fights with federal officers with their guns? Have you seen them point their guns at? Everything about this guy. It's sad that he lost his life. Don't get me wrong, but everything points to him being a mass shooter. This guy it looked like a mass shooting event where he was planning on shooting up ICE officers, doesn't it? With all that ammo.
Listen, he was a huge, gigantic activist. There's information going to be coming out in regards to this guy.
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is that if you decide that you want to be some sort of, I don't know, super activist, I would suggest that you don't end up bringing a firearm, because it's the stupidest move that you could possibly do.
Correct.
One last thing.
And by the way, go ahead, finish up.
The rules of engagement for officers is different. The street officers do not have the same rules of engagement as federal officers.
Correct.
And by the way, for everybody in Minnesota, ICE is a federal law enforcement agency. Okay?
They're cops.
So
they're cops.
Just with all that. Yeah, they are.
Park rangers are cops too. These are they carry weapons, right? There's armed park rangers that are federal agents, federal cops. Yeah. There's uniformed Secret Service that are federal agents. They're federal police.
People better wise up, and there's going to be a lot of them. And guess what? It's not going to be the fault of ICE.
And did you see the scope? This guy had a scope on there, like the Terminator.
Exactly. I mean, miss me with all of it. As soon as you end up having an interaction with law enforcement, you have to notify them that you have a weapon on you.
And here's another thing. The scope that he had on that handgun. When you're concealed carry, you don't carry with a big scope like that. You put a scope like that when you go to the target range. But when you conceal carry, you don't have a massive scope on your gun. It makes it difficult to conceal it. You know, when you conceal carry,
the whole thing is fishy.
everything about it is especially the part of pointing the weapon at the agents.
Well, that too, but the fact of the matter is that once you end up interacting, you have to announce that you have a weapon. And if you end up going down on the ground and they end up finding a weapon, and you do not give up your hands, you can just forget it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be.
All right, I'm gonna move on, but you make a lot of good points. Thank you for your call. There's one opening on the board. The number is toll free 888-465-2631. If you're watching live on YouTube, the number's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. The scope he had's huge. You don't when you're concealed carrying, you know, you can't have a concealed carry holster that you can conceal the weapon in that's that large with the scope on it. You might be able to buy a specialty holster where you can have the scope. I've never had one of those. But when you conceal carry, it's not enough for just the weapon to be covered up with a jacket or a shirt or something. If the outline of the weapon can be seen through the clothing, you are no longer concealed and you're in violation of the law. Okay? Now in Florida, we have open carry now, so that's not an issue. But where you have concealed carry, even the outline through the clothing, no one I have ever known concealed carries with extra magazines and with a scope on a handgun. Scopes on handguns are for the target range or hunting. All right, let's go. You're on the air. Hold on, let me answer all the lines that are coming in. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, Brian? This is Janice for Texas.
Hey, Texas. What's on your mind?
Man, I was calling, man, because, man, I don't know what you call them, liberals or what. I don't know what you call these people. But these fake news reporters asking these questions, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Seems like they asking questions to protect the criminal, trying to get us criminal. Right. He went there with the intention to harm our brave ICE enforcement. Man. Women.
See, you're calling from Texas, which is, Texas, you're our brothers here in Florida. We have a similar gun culture. So you know about people that carry weapons, both concealed and open carry. Have you ever known somebody to carry a concealed pistol with a massive scope and 30 to 50 rounds of ammo on the street
No.
Come on.
At a peaceful protest at that.
Exactly. And confront police.
So they saying it's okay to go somewhere, to go to a peaceful. The fake news would say it was a peaceful protest. They would say that right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they'll say that. Absolutely, they'll say that. I mean, how do you conceal a handgun with a massive scope on it like that? How do you conceal that weapon with a concealed permit?
You can't. See, here's the problem. See, let me say this real quick before I go. Okay, I know a lot of people have their opinions about Pam, the AG, United States AG, but a lot of people don't know she is fighting to get the Second Amendment rights for those who have nonviolent felonies. Mm-hmm. The case is in Supreme Court right now. It's Range versus United States Attorney General.
Yeah.
So, because basically, if I'm losing my right to protect myself because of a felony like a credit card fraud or something, somebody kicking my door, I lost my right. I can't even protect myself.
Yeah.
So I support her. I know a lot of people have opinions about her, but she's trying to at least get some rights back that was taken from us because of something they call
you're going to hear some mixed comments from conservatives. That will support this guy's right to have had the gun there and everything because they're strong Second Amendment supporters, but they're not thinking clearly. And sometimes they jump on these things too early. It's like George Zimmerman. They jumped on that quickly because they were afraid concealed carry was and when this story broke yesterday, I didn't go live on YouTube. I could have. I waited a few hours until we got the facts out and saw what was going on as opposed to being reactionary. Everything about this guy with his gun stinks. The extra ammo, the scope, and I'm not even including pointing it at the officers. This guy was all geared up for a mass shooting event, in my opinion, as a lifelong gun owner. I've owned guns since I was 12. So I know guns, and I know a lot about them. I just don't talk about it a lot.
I know they will support the rights to have a gun, but I don't think you take a gun with all that ammunition and a scope to a peaceful protest.
No.
What you going there?
No,
for?
scopes are used like at the Charlie Kirk event, Butler, places like that. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, all right? If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to The Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Back after this. All right, welcome back. It's the Brian Craig Show, available on all podcast platforms and YouTube. If you want to catch the show live in video format, where you hear me taking the live calls, that's on YouTube. Just search for the Brian Craig Show everywhere. All right, every line on the board is lit. I'll take these calls. Let's go now. I'm going to put out another warning to you. A couple things. One, the topic is what's going on in Minneapolis right now with yesterday's shooting. That's number one. There's no other topics right now. And number two, be responsible and respectful, all right? There's a tragedy that happened here, And I do require, when there's a tragedy going on, you have to be a little extra responsible, okay? And there'll be no warnings during the call, all right? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tim from Detroit. How you doing, Brian?
All right, Detroit. What's on your mind?
Anybody that gets injured or killed in these ICE raids, it is the fault of the liberal progressive politicians that are stoking all of this.
Well, yeah, and let's just be a little more specific, because not only do I agree with you, a lot. This is Tim Walz trying to not get arrested for all of this fraud that Nick Shirley exposed. That's what's behind all of this.
I don't know why we're not going in there and arresting the governor and the mayors, the attorney general.
Yeah.
This is what an insurrection, folks, looks like.
Because Pam
right
Bondi
here.
is weak. Pam Bondi is weak. That's why.
I like that Christy Nome, though. I like her a lot.
Yeah, she's great. You know, if you notice, for the most part, in Minnesota as a whole, it seems like Pam Bondi's been bypassed. I know she was on Fox yesterday talking about sending out strongly worded letters and such, but Christy Nome and Bovino and others like her have been the front of this. In fact, even Dr. Oz has been more involved than Pam Bondi in Minnesota.
Yeah. Pam Bondi, to me, she's a pretty face. She knows the procedures and policies, but she doesn't have that intellect. I'm not a Bill Barr fan, but Bill Barr, he was witty and quick on his feet. That's the type of attorney general I want.
Well, I'm starting to think
Somebody
Pam Bondi has gotten by, it seems, on her looks. Either that or she's in bed with the Bushes and she's obstructing the president.
I agree 100%.
But you know what? Christy Nome's pretty hot, and she's more than competent. She's pretty tough. She's scary. I wouldn't mess with Christy Nome.
She's a Midwesterner. I wouldn't mess with her either.
Yeah. All right, appreciate it.
Brian, it was a pleasure talking to you today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the call. Yeah, I agree with everything he said. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, it's Brad from Texas.
Brad in Texas. What's on your mind?
Hey, man, that guy that just called that said you can't own a firearm in Texas if you're a convicted felon, he is absolutely incorrect.
No, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. I don't want to turn this into a gun. Pam Bondi.
No.
Excuse me. Pam Bondi. That's not what he said. Pam Bondi, and there's a case in the Supreme Court right now over this. Pam Bondi has been involved in, there's been a lot of legislation and court rulings about convicted felons nationwide not being able to own guns, but that's not what we're talking about today, all right? I'm not going to get sidetracked on gun control. We're talking about the incident at hand. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Yeah, Doc. What's up? What's up, Doc?
Hey, man. Hey, brother. You all right?
I'm always all right. Yeah, I'm always all right.
Well, there's nothing wrong saying actually you're all right. That's the proper thing to do.
Yeah.
The proper way is to ask you how you are and how's your family. That's the way we do.
All right. Let's go.
Okay.
What's on your mind?
Hey, what I want to tell you is you asking why Tim Walz and all of them hadn't got arrested yet. Because maybe there's nothing to arrest them for. And
insurrection against the federal government? That's not an arrestable offense?
Fine. Maybe there's not no insurrection. Maybe Pam Bondi is really, she's not doing her job. Maybe Pam Bondi is saying, you know what, maybe let me not do all this right now.
When there are people that are shot in incidents with ICE officers, federal agents, and you go out and you stoke more anti-ICE rhetoric and stir the pot with the rabid mob of lunatics against the federal government and demand the federal government leave Minnesota, that's an insurrection.
Maybe you need to get ICE out of there and just say, you know what, we need to back off.
Well, I know, the Confederate state of Minnesota. That's what we need, right? Yeah, give me a break. Tim Walz is involved in an insurrection against the federal government, and he's trying to start his own new, the Second Confederate State of America here. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Joe. I'm from Hendry, down in South Florida.
Hendry, South. Where in South Florida is that? Where's Hendry? What county?
Hendry.
Hendry. Oh, okay.
Hendry County.
Oh, Hendry County. Okay, Hendry County. Okay, I know Hendry County. Okay, I misunderstood. What's on your mind, Hendry County?
Not much, man. Man, I hope they can kind of curb this gun violence up there. I mean, I wish people would get some more sense other than trying to draw down on ICE officers.
Yeah.
And ICE has a tough job as it is. They don't need to be dealing with those knuckleheads like that, packing heat nonetheless.
Well, you don't point guns. You don't. It was in that he didn't have any identification with him when he had the weapon, and he unconcealed it and he took the weapon out with the pointed it at the agents. That's there multiple federal crimes were committed by this guy.
Absolutely. All right, man. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Yeah, Hendry County, Florida. All right. Let's see here. Where are we going? All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah. Good morning. This is Richie.
Hey, Richie.
We've talked about this already for a long time. First of all, when I've heard you in the past say you didn't want to carry a concealed weapon around because you didn't want a problem. This guy, first of all, your concealed weapon, you're supposed to be protecting yourself. Who are you protecting yourself against? Why would you have a 9mm with 2 clips? And then on top of that,
with that massive scope,
you're out in the middle of this. We've already talked about the fact that when the police, the reason why there's so many police officers for ICE is because they have to watch their backs, because they're being followed through the city. Like yesterday, they were blocking traffic. He wasn't directing traffic.
Richie, you lived in Florida your whole life. Have you known anyone that concealed carries a weapon with a massive scope like that, like he's the Terminator?
No.
And extra magazines while they're concealed carrying? Come on.
No, not at all.
No one does that. And
Brian,
you can't conceal a weapon like that. That was a mass shooter.
No, yes, and these police officers have to protect themselves against these animals. Mm-hmm. Listen, yesterday a guy was sitting in his car, and he ended up getting his teeth almost knocked out. They pulled him out. I mean, it got ridiculous. They're dealing with crazy, lunatic, revolutionary people.
Correct.
And I got to say this to you: if we fold here. I don't care. First of all, Mark Elias is a dirtbag. He was on CNN. He said Pam Bondi, 2 hours after the shooting, sent him 3 requests, and one of them was turn over the voting rolls. So then they try to twist it that the shooting is the sacrifice of this guy's life is all about getting the voting rolls of Minnesota because they've refused to. This has gotten out of control with this Democratic Party. Mm-hmm. If we cave here in Minnesota, we have lost. We can't deport anybody because that'll be the word throughout all of the Democratic states. Just get violent and they'll back off.
Yeah.
They have to, and the reason they're in there with all these officers is because they have to watch their back.
Correct.
You're trying to sneak up on somebody. You don't know the person that you're trying to if they're carrying a gun. So they're getting people.
But this guy, not only did he bring the gun with a scope like that, that's a scope like he had on this handgun. I've never had a scope on a handgun, by the way. When I was younger and I used to hunt as a kid, occasionally we would occasionally to be a scope on the rifle. You have a scope like that when you go to the gun range and you're target practicing, maybe hunting, although you wouldn't really hunt with a pistol like that, especially this guy, or you're getting on the roof like the Charlie Kirk assassin or the attempted assassin in Butler. This guy with the scope and all the ammo, this was a mass shooting event waiting to happen. No doubt. Oh, did I lose you, Rich? Hold on, everybody. All right, I apologize, Rich. I lost you. There's no doubt this was a mass shooter event waiting to happen. These ICE officers probably saved lives. All right, I lost Richie. I might have got the lines mixed up. I got so many people on hold. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Albert.
Hey, Albert. Hold on one second here. Phones are ringing off the hook. What's on your mind, Albert?
Not much. I do wish ICE would get out.
Get out of what?
It is what it is.
Oh, slow down, slow down, slow down. You wish ICE would get out of what?
Wish there wouldn't be a need for ICE here in Minnesota.
Well,
I wish that they'd get the immigration thing under control.
Well, they're trying. You know, if these lunatics that Tim Waltz has sent out weren't obstructing, then they'd probably be pretty much done with their work by now, if not completely done.
You're probably right. Yep. Anyway, I'd like to teabag you.
Oh, I'm sure you would, but it's not on the table. Not going to happen. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll go back to the calls. All right, we're back. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast, available wherever you get podcasts. I'm Brian, And of course, we're talking about the incident in Minneapolis with ICE officers yesterday. If you're watching live on YouTube, the toll-free number to call in, toll-free no matter where you're listening, is pinned in the live chat. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's James from Boca.
Hey, James. What's on your mind?
You are absolutely 100% correct on. For 36 years, I've had a permit to carry in different states, and you always have to have an ID. And most people that I know don't carry extra ammo. If you carry a revolver, you get, 5 to 7 shots, depending on the revolver. And the people in Minnesota, common sense.
Here's the other thing. I want to talk to you because you're like me. You're a longtime gun owner, concealed permit holder, all this stuff, right? How do you conceal a weapon, a handgun, with a massive scope like this guy had?
No, you want the smallest. If you're going to conceal it, you need the smallest weapon you can conceal that you feel comfortable with.
That's why I have a 38 ultralight, because it's tiny, holds 5 rounds, and it's easy to conceal. You know, before we had open
we
carry.
talked about that before. Yeah.
So this guy here, as I say, I've owned guns since I was 12 years old here in Florida. I've been a lifetime gun owner. Everything about this guy signals mass shooter to me.
Yes, absolutely. Because he went to a peaceful protest with 30 to 50 rounds of ammo. He was being
scope.
And a scope. Well, the scope, he's just an idiot thinking he's James Bond. But
that's true.
The thing is that he came somewhere that was supposed to be peaceful, that we all know is not right now. You know, it's a mini civil war basically in America because some guy stole $28 billion and he's trying to hide from it.
Tim Walz.
And he's throwing all these idiots, all these faithful idiots to the Democratic Party under the bus, and they don't even see it. This is where did the common sense in America go, Brian? Mm-hmm. We used to be able to see black and white, and now everybody throws this gray in there when it's really just a black and white situation. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking colors of skin. I'm talking just the perception
there's some things that are either right or wrong. There's no gray area. And bringing a gun with I will agree with you about the scope. Although in this instance, with the Charlie Kirk incident and Butler, you got to think. I've seen a lot of guys, they go to the gun store, they're at the gun range, they have the biggest gun with scope. They don't know what they're doing, when they're not, and they buy these fancy looking things because they saw it in a movie. However, with one thing this guy did is he took the weapon out while he's arguing with federal agents. That right there gets you shot dead. If you or I did that, we'd be shot dead. Wearing a MAGA hat.
Reaching for that gun. Mm-hmm. Just reaching for that gun.
Get you shot and killed.
Just as an action of going to get that gun, they have the right to shoot him.
Correct.
And nobody, like I said, it's just black and white here, people. If you don't go down and riot, you won't get hurt, you won't get maced, and none of the officers would be hurt. They are removing people that are rapists and killers. And I don't care if the guy is here and had his, 3 kids, and he's still illegal. Him and his family are illegal. They've taken jobs away from Americans. After COVID and then the migration, my business went down by over 40% because all the Spanish people down here in South Florida bought the homes. They only use Spanish people to work on them. You know what I mean? So there's no integration in America right now because they're getting something or had got something for free. Maybe they still are.
Well, regardless is you don't obstruct police when they're arresting someone, and you certainly don't do it and reach for a gun while you're doing it.
The first thing you said is the first thing they should not do. Don't even go there.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I mean, these guys are trying to do a job that 81 million people in this country mandated to remove the illegals. Mm-hmm. Plain and simple.
And I've been telling you guys since the Nick Shirley video dropped is when these protests started. I've been telling you all, do not go to anti-ICE protest in your city, wherever you are. If there's a local one, stay away because they're dangerous. And the left are looking to push buttons and instigate and elevate every situation. Stay away from all anti-ICE protest. I've been telling you guys that. Have you seen me go? You don't think I could have gone to some and made YouTube videos and got hundreds of thousands of views? Because it's not smart to do. It's dangerous.
You don't want to go to the asylum.
Correct.
Period.
It's dangerous.
You have a good morning, Brian.
All right, take care from Boca. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Caleb.
All right, speak up. What's on your mind?
I need you to stop calling this a scope. That is clearly not a scope. It is a red dot on that pistol.
Well, if you notice, okay, I'll just tell you, okay, if you've listened to what I've said here, okay, I've said it's a scope like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator. I've said that almost every time I've mentioned it. Yeah, exactly. And the reason, excuse me, and the reason I say it that, excuse me, let me finish my sentence. The reason I describe it that way is so that people that aren't gun experts like you know what I'm talking about. When I say like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator, I think 99% of the people know exactly what I mean. All right, appreciate the call. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian?
Good. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Chris, Chicago.
Chris in Chicago. What's on your mind?
All right, Brian. There's nothing supporting your claims that he brandished his weapon and pointed the gun at the
ICE officers. The ICE officers have said so. Bovino said so in his press conference, and so did Christy.
There's no videos. There's no videos.
I am going by the eyewitness testimony from the ICE officers.
You know there's videos, correct? You know there's videos.
Sure.
Correct. You know that, right? There's no video supporting that claim.
Okay.
None.
Well,
I'm gonna
stick with Bovino and Christy Nome. But forgetting about that, excuse me, let's talk about what we do know for sure, all right?
I know what the video show.
Excuse me. He had a weapon, fully loaded, 9mm, extra ammo with a scope on it. He got into an argument with officers, and without question, he reached for the weapon, right? You'll agree with that. You agree with all that, right?
No,
how can I talk to you?
Can you look at the video, please?
I've seen a bunch of them. We don't know that.
Yes, the ICE agent disarmed him.
Nope.
ICE agent.
Nope. That was not determined. That has not been determined.
You're not. There's. What you mean? There's video of the incident. You understand that, correct?
In what situation is it okay to obstruct officers during an arrest with a weapon and lots of ammo?
He never brandished his weapon.
All right. That's enough. Bringing it with the scope is brandishing the weapon. See what I mean about these leftists? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie.
Hey, Richie. I disconnected you earlier, Richie. I apologize.
Yeah, I know that. I've been on hold. Here's the deal. Right or wrong, let's just get to these guys are calling you up saying he didn't reach the video. That was a justified shoot.
No question.
That was a justified shoot because the man had no business obstructing. These police officers are not just trying to do crowd control. They got riot control in back of them.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it's to the point where Antifa now has called for everybody down there to load up and start shooting at ICE officers.
Yeah, the guy with the tattoos. I've seen that. The guy with the tattoos on his face. I've seen it. Yeah.
So now, what are we gonna do? Who's caused all of this crap?
Yeah, that guy looks like Ed Norton in American History X. I've seen the video.
Yeah, in New York City, they attacked the police when they were attacking New York City cops. ICE is not New York City cops. They're not going to get beat up while they're trying to apprehend somebody. They're not going to get jumped. They're not going to get kicked. So they're getting rough with them. They're putting spray in their faces. Because they're crazy people. They won't stay away. They just insist. They block traffic. They block ICE in. It gets to be a hairy situation. That's why they have to have so many. It's not. It's not a normal thing that they go to arrest somebody.
I know some of you were saying. I know a lot of you were saying, well, you know, you're not debating these liberals so much. The premise, the liberals that have called me today, they want to debate a totally false premise. Under no situation is it legal for anyone to interfere and obstruct officers making an arrest. Number two, even if you didn't have a gun and you were reaching for something, that's a justifiable shoot. Okay, involved in such an incident. So the whole premise of the situation that you're trying to get me to debate is a false premise, and I'm not going to sit here and debate false premises with people.
The biggest eyewitness of this whole thing, and forget about videos, forget about everything else, and he didn't even see it, but the biggest eyewitness is his father. His father came out with a statement that said that he wanted to protect people that were getting grabbed and disappeared. Correct. Or whatever.
Yes.
So he's going to protect. What is he going to protect with? A loaded 9mm with 2 clips. That just tells you everything you need to know. His own father.
Exactly.
So come on.
And,
the guy had
and everything he was committing multiple federal crimes, obstructing, going for the weapon. The officers say that he pulled the weapon on them, okay, pointed it at officers. We got from Christy Nome and Bovino. There's nothing, and all the extra ammo, and that scope.
Do you remember when George Floyd was the man with the Chauvin was on his neck, and there was a mob that gathered around the whole situation? Well, these police officers, these ICE officers, don't just have a mob observing. They have a mob that's actually attacking every time they try to arrest somebody.
Correct.
I mean, there's an attack going on in the streets. This is out of control. And this governor, I don't know why. And you hear the mayor. The mayor, by the way, said basically five goons attacked this guy and shot him to death on the street. What they followed him down the sidewalk? They just grabbed him, or they were trying to rob him or something? No, the guy was obstructing and going out there, and he wasn't directing traffic. He was obstructing traffic. He wasn't letting ICE cars in. He was letting other traffic go around the ICE car. It's ridiculous to say that this guy was directing traffic. You got to be kidding me.
First off, it's illegal. It's illegal for a civilian to go out and direct traffic. By the way, it's an arrestable offense, especially if you're armed.
This whole thing has gotten out of control.
He was at that point. He was impersonating law enforcement as well. Directing traffic. You can't go out and direct traffic.
Why aren't they grabbing this mayor right now in a federal?
Well, didn't you hear Pam Bondi on Fox, Richie? Pam Bondi was on Fox. She said she sent a strongly worded letter to Governor Walsh yesterday. I couldn't believe she said that. What the dumbest statement I've ever heard.
Pam Bondi, I told you they're Elias. They want the voter registration, so now they're saying this is a negotiation ploy by Trump.
Yeah.
You know why they want you want to know why they want these voting rolls?
I don't want to. I'm not going to get sidetracked on anything else, Richie. All right, Richie. I got to run. If you're on hold, stand by. We're not going to get sidetracked on any issues other than this shooting incident. Okay, now this is Bovino yesterday, the head of Border Patrol, and walking us through everything that happened in his press conference yesterday. Now, you got to understand, he had seen the footage and spoken with the officers. There you have it. There you have everything. All right. All right. Let's take some more calls. Again, I'm going to remind you all. We're talking about the incident that happened yesterday in Minneapolis. Nothing else. We're not getting sidetracked on other issues. And be responsible with your speech. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, I hung up as you were starting to utter, and it was too late. The button was already pushed. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is John from Wisconsin. How are you this morning?
All right, John. What's on your mind?
Well, I was just listening to some of your callers there, and I mean, this guy was loaded for bear.
And with and ready to reload.
Yeah. Right, and the guy's like, there's no video. The same guy that's seen the video of them stuffing ballots into the fraudulent ballots in 2020, now all of a sudden he needs video.
Yeah, well,
Didn't prove nothing. There's stuffing ballots. That's nothing. No fraud there.
I don't want to get involved in any other, not just that, anything. I don't want the discussion to bear on anything.
No, what I'm saying is the video that he is, he's claiming that the ICE officers were wrong.
Yeah.
They don't want to see the truth. That's just what I'm saying.
Well,
no
Tim
matter
Walls,
what you do,
I'm
they don't
telling
want
you,
to see the truth.
Tim Walls is trying to avoid getting arrested for the fraud. I'm telling you.
Oh, sure. You bet.
Tim Walls for 3 weeks has been sleeping fully dressed every night in case he gets arrested in the middle of the night. I'm not kidding. So he's egging this insurrection on to try to avoid getting an arrest, and he's willing to get.
You bet. Look over here. Don't look over there. Right.
Yeah.
It's and then when you have proof of anything, or you can't take the officer's word for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're there. They're on the front line. It really
Exactly.
doesn't matter if there's any kind of proof of that.
Mm-hmm.
Why are the people there in the first place? They're there to cause trouble, and when trouble happens to them, oh, well, these guys acted out of line, but it's okay for them to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, well, thank you.
All right, well, thank you for your call. Very good call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
That's Bruce from Wisconsin.
All right,
How are
Wisconsin. All right, Wisconsin. What's on your mind?
Not much. You look pretty good losing all that.
Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Irv. I'm calling from Dallas.
All right, Dallas. What's on your mind?
Well, I do think that Mr. Alex had a red dot, not a scope. And I also think that I don't think he was a crazy guy. I think he was a professional. He was an ICU nurse. I do think he was a decent citizen. He probably shouldn't have been out there protesting.
Wait a minute.
I'll give
So
you that.
a decent citizen. You mean, now again, maybe your idea of what a decent citizen is different than mine. Do decent citizens obstruct law enforcement during felony arrest? And by the way, while they're armed?
No, but he has a Second Amendment, and he has the concealed carry.
No, he was in violation of federal gun laws. He had no identification, and he went and at the even the liberals agree that he reached for his weapon.
I mean, I didn't see that when I looked at the video.
Well, I can't help you that you haven't seen everything. Get yourself informed and then call me back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, available wherever you get podcasts. And if you want to catch the show live in video form, go to YouTube, search for the Brian Craig Show on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Back after this. make statements, okay? If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. Mm-hmm. What responsible talk from Christina? This is how a responsible public official reacts when there's something like this going on. The total opposite of Walz and that idiot mayor. Wow. Hear that? Wow. Mm-hmm. See? Very responsible. She's pointing out the crimes of Walz and Fry. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I was right to shoot.
Okay. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, my name's Adam Van Lanham. I'm from Wisconsin.
All right,
I'm
we
a
only
Marine
need
Corps veteran.
first names, but go ahead, Wisconsin.
Yeah, bro. It's kind of crazy. We're to the point where you can see with your own eyes an execution and say, nope, didn't happen. Like, are you that much of a cuck? Are you that much of a useless cuck?
Excuse me. This isn't some phone sex line, and I'm not some OnlyFans girl. Why are you using such profane language? You said you're a Marine.
Oh,
Can you
I'm
have
sorry,
a little
you
respect?
snowflake.
No,
I'm
can you
so
have
sorry,
some
you little
respect? Okay, I'm
snowflake.
not here for your pleasure, all right? My goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, hang in there, JJ. Oh, my goodness. Yep.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Another, and the insanity continues. This is, excuse me, this is just, well, I'd like to say it's mind-blowing, but, I mean, this is their strategy. The Democrats, Walz. I mean,
yes.
This kind of, and the people that don't realize, it's sort of like this. When you play a game, when you play cards, there's rules. When you go to the casino, there's rules for 21. When you watch football, there's rules.
Mm-hmm.
People, it's like some of these people that call on the show, it's like listening to them, tell somebody about blackjack when they've never seen a deck of cards, or somebody talk about the rules of football that have been living in a cave for the past 45 years. You cannot walk into, some of the things I hear from the American citizens, or the callers, I'm assuming they're American citizens or wherever the hell they're calling from. You don't pull a sidearm, your weapon, in the presence of police.
No.
I mean, even if you're getting a frigging parking ticket.
No.
That's just, and when they decide to take that weapon away from you, if you resist, you're going to get shot.
Yeah, you're obliged to surrender. You're obliged to give it to them.
Those are the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. End of story. Done. And this guy loses his life. I mean, what did he do for a living? Did I hear he was a nurse or something?
ICU nurse.
What was he?
ICU nurse.
An ICU nurse. What a friggin' waste. I mean, that is a very valuable position for the American people, an ICU nurse.
Yeah.
And this guy this is just it. Intelligent. This guy was an intelligent man. To be an ICU nurse, you're not a stupid guy, and yet he was an idiot.
No, not only a lot of this, and I'm not absolving him of his responsibility. However, there's a lot of brainwashing that's going on of liberal-minded people. And listen to these monsters I've been talking to. This guy before you. I mean, the perverted talk.
All I heard was cock. I heard him say,
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Idiot,
I mean,
like it was
I'm sorry.
an execution.
I've been here taking these calls from liberals, and all of them are gun owners, lifelong. They all have scopes. They all carry extra mags with them. I mean, they will just lie and lie and lie. It's ridiculous.
It blows my mind. The whole thing, listen, I've been watching. I mean, I'm older than you, so I've been watching Star Trek longer than you have because I'm older. I watch a lot of it. The other day, I mean, I saw in episode Day of the Dove with basically.
And that's the one with the Klingons
Kang,
on the Enterprise. Yes.
Kang, Kang, and there's an alien that's convincing them. They take all the weapons away and just give them knives
and swords.
And nobody dies. The whole thing and swords, yeah. So they just continuously fight, but nobody dies. They always get better. So because this alien, which to me is Tim Walz and the friggin' Democrat Party, they survive, they thrive off of that.
On rage and anger.
That rage and anger. And to me, I don't know. It seems like it's quite a distraction.
By the way, that actor that played Kang was Barbara Eden's husband at the time from I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah. Yes. He also, I used to watch all the time many years back. Have you ever heard of the miniseries Centennial?
Of course, I remember Centennial. Robert Conrad.
Yeah, Centennial.
Yeah, I remember all that. Andy Griffith was in it at the end and all that.
Yep. And so was the actor that played Kang he played Lame Beaver.
Oh, okay.
Lame Beaver.
An Indian.
Yeah.
Well, listen. I don't want to talk about miniseries from the '80s, but hey, I got to move on. But I appreciate the call. You make some good points. All right. Hold on a second. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name's Pat. I'm from Michigan.
Hey, Michigan. What's on your mind?
Hey, Minneapolis. It seems pretty simple to me.
Now, hold on. I'm going to answer these.
Water cannons.
Water cannons? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's so cold. It's so cold up there. Once you spray people, they will disperse and go home.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe you can let President Trump know. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Eugene. You are a fuck.
Yeah, I know. I've been called worse. All right. Now let's go back to, if you're on hold, stand by. Back to the Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, on the incident. Here she is with taking questions. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the arguments that the media and the left are taking now. Now here we go to the irresponsible Amy Klobuchar, who they're talking about running her for governor against Mike Lindell. I don't think so. What, the federal government's going to evacuate Minnesota and turn it over to Waltz and Frey? They're becoming an independent republic now, the Confederate state of Minnesota? I don't think so. I mean, what would that do? That would just cause more incidents elsewhere around the country. Because, these activists are like terrorists, right? They get what they want. They don't say, okay, mission accomplished. They want more. Next thing, they'll be in California demanding ICE leave, and every other state. See, no mention of the guy obstructing justice, being armed, nothing. Yeah, she's out of her mind. I mean, this is what you would refer to as inciting violence. That's what Amy Klobuchar is doing. Now, if you'd like to support my content, which includes my podcast, my YouTube channel, everything I do, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of this and every episode to my Patreon page. And when you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of every podcast episode. You get access to exclusive live streams on the Patreon platform. It's a troll-free zone for just Patreon supporters. And you also get access to a lot of things that my wife and I post there that we post nowhere else. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode of the podcast, and on YouTube, you get your name up on the screen. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, and Doris. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Again, there's a link in the description to my Patreon page, no matter where you're tuned in to me right now, or you can go directly to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. That's patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. All right, another clip here. This is the Kristi Noem press conference yesterday. Yeah, that's exactly right. And what world did he show up for a peaceful protest with all the ammunition and that weapon, right? And Kristi Noem, she's great. I mean, she'd be a great first female president, wouldn't she? Mm-hmm. See, there she is, and she's talking about walls in them with the fraud. She is so good, isn't she? And she's definitely in charge on the scene. And this press con, I am very impressed with her. I mean, would anyone not be comfortable with her being the second MAGA president? Man, you know, the only problem we have in the MAGA movement is we have so many qualified people: JD, Kristi Noem, Pete Hegseth, of course, the great Marco Rubio. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And everything she says is spot on and right on the money. I am so impressed with Kristi Noem. She is absolutely amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, where was this guy not violent? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, my name is Paul. I work for the state of Minnesota. And you're not far off about Tim Walz sleeping in his clothes.
Yeah.
He's super nervous.
Yeah.
He is super nervous.
Yeah, I'm not being sarcastic about that. You can tell he's lost a lot of weight in the last 2.5 weeks. He's freaked out. He got caught.
Yeah, he's definitely not himself. He's a different person.
Mm-hmm. All right, I appreciate the call. By the way, if you're new to the program, make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're on. You know, I'm here every day of the week, and I'm always taking live calls like you've heard me do this morning. I'm here weekday mornings, every morning, and on the weekends, and in the afternoons. And anytime I'm in the studio live streaming, I am taking live calls like I've been doing this morning. So make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are tuned in on. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time. Take care.